Welcome to More Than a Parent, a podcast exploring who we are and what we want outside of being a parent, so we can create an integrated lifestyle with impact both in and out of our homes. I'm Caz Gaddis, and I invite you to join me to be your more, live your and. Welcome to the More Than a Parent podcast. I'm Caz Gaddis. If you turned in, I sounded like Medea just there. If you tuned in to our last podcast, episode 9, we talked about productivity during this pandemic and things that we can consider doing to support us as we go forward into this kind of uncertain and unknown time, but also with a very empowered view of looking at what's possible, looking at what could work for you. So I hope that really served you. That was E009. If you go to cazgaddis.com/E009. Today's episode is going to be on the self-care piece. So if you heard again the last episode, I was in a place where I was feeling super paralyzed. There was just so much emotions going on, my own as well. And instead of staying in a place of being paralyzed in that, which I was, because it's a very real thing, especially when you have kids, it's looking at what is possible now. And so with that piece, we shared productivity on the last episode, and this one is going deeper. This one's going into how is it that you want to process through the feels that you're feeling, and then what do you want to do once you're there. So this episode is going to be even more heart-centered on that. I have some things as well that I'll be sharing. Before we go into that piece, I do want to share this will be available at cazgaddis.com/podcast. Specifically for this episode, you can also download the More Than a Parent Roundup on self-care. It's a guide for you available at cazgaddis.com/E010. So before I go into this more, and the reason I kind of had that pause that you heard there for a moment is this is a very real time. This is all affecting us in all different ways, and at the same time in very similar, real ways. I want to first do a collective pause with you. There's a power in the pause. And this is something that I mentioned in the productivity one that I love to do when I'm going into a call and I'm transitioning from one call to the next, or one activity, especially when you're balancing everyone being at home into the next. And so we're going to experience that together, because I think that will help us. And it may sound counterintuitive being on a podcast and doing this, but I'd love to share that with you. So what I'm doing is I'm getting on my phone, which is nice and sparkly, and it says More Than a Parent. And I'm putting on a 1-minute timer. So for the next minute that we're here together sharing the space, I invite you to truly see how you can pause what's going on around you, or at least pause within yourself. If you can close your eyes, do that. If you feel weird doing that, then don't do that. But just take a moment to just listen to the quietness, and let that re-center you for the rest of this podcast, because I really want this to serve you. And so we're going to take this minute collectively now. Okay, so that's a minute of time. I know it probably felt like a long time if you haven't done something like this before, but my hope is that in experiencing that now, you could also come back to that same feeling and experience that at another time that would serve you. So with us talking about self-care and where we are right now as a mom, especially, we're having to serve and nurture everyone and do all the things in a whole new level for most of us, right? Having the kids at home, the spouse at home if you have one, whatever it is, it's a whole new heightened level of being a mom. I laugh because that helps me get through it. It's funny. So when it comes to self-care, the first thing is really that I want to share myself as we go into the tips that everyone else is going to share. So if I hadn't mentioned that yet, this is a podcast roundup. So we have some amazing women that are going to be sharing with us on what helps them be able to recenter, recharge, replenish, and refocus on the self-care side right now, because we are in a pandemic and there's just a lot going on that we're having to manage both inside of ourselves and outside of ourselves. In my own experience, I've talked to probably 40 to 50 moms, specifically in my business, in my More Than a Parent coaching practice. And the biggest thing is that when we're in a place where we're feeling just kind of broken down energetically or emotionally or all the things, we're serving from a place of exhaustion, right? When you're in exhaustion, all you can put out is exhaust. And so when we work on our energy and how we're showing up, when we work in that personal power piece, we're able to elevate that energy so that we can serve from a place of abundance and overflow, so that we don't have to be like, oh man, well, I have nothing left to replenish myself. So the first thing is self-compassion. Self-compassion could be just taking a 1-minute break to pause and just let everything chill out, right? Because there's a lot going on. And having self-compassion in yourself, regardless if you work for someone or now you're working for someone at home possibly, or for your own business, it's knowing that you are totally doing the best you can, given the specific situation you're in, the specific way that things are showing up in your life and how it's affecting you. You are doing the best you can. So please love yourself as if you were your friend, that you would tell them all sorts of amazing things. It's so easy for us internally sometimes to say things that could really break us down. And just focus on the compassion piece and just flex that muscle this upcoming week. Look at ways that you can love yourself more through this, because it will help you get through it, and it'll help you serve and nurture and be at a whole new level. That 1-minute reframe definitely helps. And then also looking at what do you need right now? There's times where we allow ourselves to be led by fear and anxiety versus what is actually possible beyond that.
Hi there, Melissa Lorina, the CEO and founder of Career Outcomes Matter. I help marketers rediscover their unique skills so that this way they can land an opportunity in a forward-thinking company where their ideas are valued. So here's my self-care tip. As a mom to 3 boys, so I have identical twins, both of whom are 6, and I have an 8-year-old singleton. Something that's important to me is the morning hours. So I've been waking up at 5 a.m. every single day, Saturdays and Sundays, and I focus on the most important meal for me, which is breakfast. So the reason why it's so important is it's something that even my mom, who was a single mom, managed to always make happen for herself before we headed out the door anywhere. It's something that I must do. So if I have to get up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever time it might be, it's important. That's the time where I get to actually decide how I'm going to nourish my body, how I'm going to get the day started. And usually my sons are not awake. Granted, they're early birds as well. So that is the one tip I will say is absolutely keeping me feeling stable, consistent, and certain, because every single morning I have the same exact meal. So that's one tip. The second tip that I wanted to provide in terms of self-care is really thinking through meditation, but not just meditation sporadically. It's important, and I found in this time right now, to really think through what are the emotions that you're feeling. I'll give you an example. If you're feeling panic, anxiety, worry, overwhelm, like literally Google search the meditations, like the guided meditations, whereby you can be guided through the process and really feel, you know, whatever sort of emotions you're going through, but really be very targeted, right? So again, and something that I've found lately is meditation that includes children. So why don't you Google search meditation, guided meditations that are for kids that might be able to help you tackle or work through a very specific emotion. I think right now, as parents, we have this, you know, sixth sense, so to speak, where we know how we feel, but it might just be difficult to almost like spot treat. And now's the time when you can do that using the power of search. So thank you, Google. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hi, everybody. My name is Regina Kerry. I'm the founder of Carry On. And today I'm coming to you with the theme of the common thread. This is a practice of checking in with your mind, your body, and your spirit as we move through this unique adventure. So let's begin with our minds, because our thoughts are very powerful. My question to you is, what are you thinking? Our thoughts drive our emotions, so we have to be very aware of what it is that we're thinking. So when your mind takes a dip, do the gratitude flip. When you find yourself thinking negative thoughts or worrisome thoughts or thoughts that are giving you anxiety, look around you and start to speak gratitude for what's in front of you, for what you have. I'm grateful that my family is all under one roof. I'm grateful that the sun is shining today. I'm grateful that I can hear the birds singing. Find gratitude in the simplest of things, and this will allow your mind to slow down a little bit. It is impossible to feel other emotions when we're practicing gratitude. The second thing is your body. So sometimes we have to engage our bodies to override our mind, because our mind doesn't always cooperate when we say, calm down, it's going to be okay. We don't listen to ourselves. Sound familiar? So we use our bodies to help get our thoughts under control. And the best way to do that is to use our breath. Breath is the number one way to reduce your blood pressure, reduce your stress, and improve your overall your overall calm. The breath technique I use is 4-4-8. It's easy to remember. 4 and 4 make 8. You inhale for 4, hold for 4, release for 8. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 times through that. Takes less than a minute, and you will regain your calm. So practice your breathing. Be aware when you're holding your breath. Finally, our spirits. That fire in our bellies. Are we feeding it? Our spirits are the purest form of our being. We must rejuvenate by putting ourselves in environments and activities that help us to feel good. Sometimes I ask my Google Home to play the sound of the ocean. I love the sound of the waves. So when I'm working and I've got waves crashing in my kitchen, it's so peaceful. And it makes me feel calm and happy. We want to do things that are enjoyable, like play games with our kids, or sit and do a puzzle, or take time to even put our feet up and read for a little bit. All of that rejuvenates our spirits. The important thing in all of this is that we're checking in with ourselves, that we're going inward and we're asking, what am I thinking? How am I feeling? Am I really fueling my spirit to help keep me strong and centered in all of this. We don't have to be balanced. Now is not the time to seek out balance, but it is an opportunity for us to look inward and say, how are we doing? Because all of the identities that we hold doesn't matter if we're not taking care of this one. And when we're feeling full, when our thoughts are good, when our breath is grounded, and when our spirits are rejuvenated, we are better able to serve in all of our identities, because you are more than a parent. Make it a strong day.
Hi there. My name is Roy Loy. I'm a doula, lactation education counselor, and yoga instructor. I'm also the founder of Insider Mom. So my tip for the day would be to develop a daily yoga practice. This is a really healthy habit to adopt, not just for yourself, but your kids as well. And a way to do it is to have a designated mat or two for your little ones, and to have a space that's specifically for your yoga practice. So it can be a little space in your living room, a little space in your room that you always try to keep clear so you can roll out your mat whenever you want to. Scheduling the time to do it. And if you prefer the mornings, you can do it in the morning. If you prefer it, during lunchtime, you can do it during that time as well. But really scheduling it and setting the intention of doing a practice every day will help you continue that habit. Another way that's going to help you continue it is by just practicing a few minutes a day, even if you're short on time. Just getting on your mat, whether it's for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. You only need a few minutes. And if you have more time, like on the weekends, and you have help with childcare, if you want to do a full-on hour practice, you can do an hour on the weekends and then jump back into 15 or 30-minute practices throughout the week. Also, practicing with your kids is fun. Like when you have mats for them and you have your own mat, you can put on a yoga program for them. And they love some of the programs that are online for kids. It shows them different poses, and also it helps them, develop a healthy habit as well. And it also brings a sense of calm and relaxation into yourselves and into your surroundings. And it's just a really great practice to continue daily. So that's my recommendation, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name's Tina Unruh. I am the founder of Selfish Mama, and I am a certified life and mindset coach for moms. In short, I help them cultivate and prioritize the relationship they have with themselves so that they can really enjoy life and not just survive it. And I'll tell you, in this current time where we're all dealing with the stress of finding a new normal, living with coronavirus, I wanted to drop in 3 tips that I feel might help you in really tending to yourself and tending to your self-care during this challenging time. So the first is to really manage your mindset. It is very true what Henry Ford said, which is, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Whatever you believe to be true is going to be proven to you time and time again. And as we try to figure out this new normal for ourselves and for our families, what you believe about your capability, your children's capability, your partner's capability, it all is going to matter. And so please be sure that you are minding that mind chatter that's happening in there and make sure that it is positive and not negative. The second thing that I want to offer you is to proactively, intentionally include time for yourself. I know this is probably going to be really hard. I, for one, am still going to have to continue to practice this as we move forward here. I work from home already, and my daughter is 10. She's in the 5th grade, and I'm going to have to start homeschooling her. And I'm not sure that I'm smarter than a 5th grader, to be honest. And so, I'm used to having the days by myself and being as productive as I want to be and can be. And now I'm not going to have complete control over my day in regards to focusing just on my business. And so I really need to work extra hard in the coming days and weeks to carve out time for myself, whether it's making sure that I have enough sleep, getting in naps, taking time reading a book, just enjoying my coffee in the morning, whatever it might be. We need to make sure that we carve out time for ourselves. And the last tip that I have for you is just to be forgiving, have some grace with yourself and your family. This is a new time and we're all having to figure it out. And so just be willing to do trial and error until you find the pattern that works for you. I wish you all the very best in health and wellness. Take care.
So there you have it. We've talked about emotions. We've talked about expression and dance and just taking a break through all of it. We've shared different ways that have worked for us. Now it's your opportunity to look at and try on some of the things that you heard on this episode and see what would best serve you where you are right now. Maybe you try one of these ideas a day or one of these insights every few days and see what works for you. I look forward to seeing what serves you and what you think of it. Please make sure that you have support around you. Make sure that you have a community around you rallying, letting you know that it's possible and that you are possible. Go to facebook.com/groups/more than a parent. We would love to have you join us. We have a lot of fun things in store in there and also a space to talk about the not fun things. Whatever it is that you need, rally around you a community of moms that can support you and elevate you in the moments that you don't feel like you got it. Because mom, I promise you, you got this. And we'll all get through this together. So thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than a Parent. To be your more, live your and.
Continue the conversation and connect at facebook.com/groups/more than a parent.